Okay, jumping into exit slip 2.8. We're going to use the division of fractions property using reciprocals to solve division of fraction problems. But guys, this is the way you're going to use almost all the time. We've taught you other ways with common denominators, saying them backwards, and that's just to develop our understanding a little bit more deeply of what's going on. But a lot of times numbers don't get along, and that makes it tougher when you're dividing, and you get those fraction decimals and those complex fractions that are just really weird looking. So this way, remember, you can divide without actually dividing. You can change it into a multiplication problem and have it work. Okay, so we reviewed this yesterday and taught it, and now we're going to kind of just go through it again here and double check how you did. So in this case, we're starting with the dividend of 4/5 and dividing into groups of 2/3. And it's pretty hard to divide into groups of 2/3 and to visualize that or draw pictures. So we're going to use this reciprocal way. So remember, the first number always stays the same. That's what's being divided up. We're starting with 4/5 of something, but instead of dividing by 2/3, I can change it to multiplication, and then to undo that, okay, we flip to its reciprocal. 2/3 flips to its reciprocal of 3/2, and dividing by 2/3 is the same as multiplying by 3/2. And we like to multiply because we don't need common denominators, and we can just multiply across. So if we do that, in this case, I get 12/10. The downfall of this sometimes is the answer doesn't come out in simplest form. 12/10 in this case is an acceptable answer, but it's improper. A lot of you know that can be changed by dividing and making a V, or you can do it in your head. 10/10 is 1, so we'd have 1 and 2/10. And if you wanted to get it simpler, that would change to 1 and 1/5. And again, next year you guys are going to be having to make sure most answers are in simplest form. For us, that's not an essential for us, but we're trying to make sure we learn that the division of fractions property here. So if you don't get it in simplest form, that's okay. We're just making sure you're understanding this reciprocal process. But good habit to get into using that. On B, to be honest with you, I wouldn't use anything. Okay, I know use any division property besides the identity property that anything divided by itself is 1. A half divided into groups of a half. You know, how many halves can I get out of a half? Well, I know the answer is 1. I'll write this answer in 2 so I have it in the best form there. So in this case, I really wouldn't have to do anything if I'm just understanding what division is. Sometimes we get wrapped up and, I'm going to change it to a multiplication problem because that's the way, the easy way, quick way to do it. Well, sometimes we don't need that. We outthink ourselves. Okay, if you just understand this is division, that's something you can do without that. But if we did, first number stays the same. Division changes to multiply, and then flip to undo it, so it gives us the same value. And we multiply across, we get 2/2, and again, it gives us that value of 1, just like we got when I did it with division. Okay, this next one, the numbers don't get along nearly as well. Sorry, let me put it back up here. All right, so 4/9. We're going to start with 4/9. Again, we don't flip that one. Mistakes kids make sometimes, they flip both or they flip the first one. Guys, we're always starting with 4/9, so we can't change that. But instead of dividing into groups of 7, we're going to multiply by 7/3, flip it to its reciprocal. And when I multiply across, I get 28/27. And I know that's greater than 1. It's actually 1 and 1/27 if I put that in the simplest form. And on the last one, the only difference here on this last one is this is a mixed number. We want to get it into a fraction, so I can just multiply across. So I'm going to change that to 7/3, make it improper. And again, I didn't flip anything there. I just changed it to 7/3 because that's equivalent to that. Now, instead of dividing, I'm going to multiply and flip it to 6/4. And if I do this one, I multiply across, I get 42/12. And again, the downfall is sometimes the answer comes up improper. I like to divide and make a V. 42 divided by 12. If you do 42 divided by 12, I think you'll get 3 6/12. Okay, and I know 6/12 is a half. So the best answer in this case would be 3 1/2. But if you had 3 6/12, that's okay. And basically, guys, all of these, except for this one, when the numbers don't get along very well, probably going to use this reciprocal process here to solve these, especially when the numbers keep getting bigger and not getting along very well.